Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am so excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And we are in Copperdale, and today I am building my very own ThrifTea store. And I'm really stoked about it because I loved the one that was here. I believe the wonderful Miss Griffey built it for the PAX release. However, I wanted to give it my own flair. So what I did for this build, and I actually shared this over on Twitter as well, while it was still kind of like a work in progress, is I looked around Copperdale. This is something that I always do for builds, especially if I have no idea how to tackle a certain style or to make something fit in. But I looked around the world and I saw three kind of very distinct, I guess, features in some of the buildings. So I'm going to put them on screen as I mention them. So number one, I saw this building that seemed to have the Discover University columns and this nice tall rounded window at the front. And it kind of has this, I don't even know what the shape would be considered, but it's like that angled shop shape. I don't know what to call it, but I was like, okay, so I'm going to make a building that kind of looks like this. It's very reminiscent of the Strangerville Saloon that I actually built a while ago at this point. So I was looking at that. So I did that. I made that a feature. And then I also saw some buildings out in the distance where it had like these three windows on a very kind of narrow storefront. So I did that for the thrift store side of it. And then finally, I saw around the corner, I caught it out of the corner of my eye in build mode. I saw these almost like not quite bay windows that were a little bit angled. And I was like, all right, I'm going to add one of those as well. And I just tried to tie together all these different features to make something that I thought fit into Copperdale. So I think this fits in very nicely. I think it looks a little bit maybe newer compared to some of the buildings in this surrounding area, just because of all of the very crisp white accents, like the trim and the columns and the windows and everything that I chose. But I thought it fit really nicely, and I'm really excited to share it because the thrift store is probably one of my favorite spaces I've ever made. I don't know why. I was saying this to my very dear friends, Reese and Rachel, as I was building this build and showing them behind the scenes stuff because, you know, that's the perks of having friends that build, right? Anyway, I was showing them some stuff and I was like, you know what? I feel like, and I'm going to own this, I'm going to own it right now. I feel like I'm very good with the industrial kind of like grungy style of things. I love playing around with different light colors to kind of make things a little bit funky. I really like mixing a lot of distressed different patterns and quirky items. It really comes naturally to me, I think. So hopefully you all enjoy it too. Hopefully you like how it turned out. But I really struggled with the bubble tea shop more than anything because the colors for a lot of the things that we got with the high school years pack, specifically a lot of the things that one may use in the bubble tea shop, I'm not a huge fan of those colors. I don't really like bright, vibrant colors like that. So it was a bit of a struggle. And I think that's also why I went very neutral with the exterior of this build as well. I used brown and black siding and then like a darker brick that came with high school years. I didn't use any vibrant colors for the exterior of the bubble tea shop or anything like that because I don't really enjoy those colors that much. And I wasn't really feeling it. I really wanted it to fit in with this little downtown area, and it seemed like a lot of neutral tones were being used. So, oh, and I also forgot to mention, so that door to the thrift store, which is to the right, the bubble tea shop is on the left, I actually swap it out because there is another door, I think, that's used. It looks like, I think it's the one from the movie Hangout stuff pack. It looks like it's used on one of the other deco buildings in this world as well. I don't think I took a screenshot of it, but I tried to pull in just tons of accents like that to really make it seem like it fit in here. I just really hope it does. I hope that you all tell me, yes, you did it. Great job. Don't do it just to like placate me, but I really hope that I nailed it. Hopefully that's how it feels when you watch it. But yeah, I went ahead and finished the exterior for the most part. I'm just adding some outside dining tables. I did choose these chairs from the Parenthood game pack because I thought they were really cute. They were cutesy in style, but they were also kind of this tealy blue color that really seemed to match not only Pearl, the bubble tea monkey there, the little mascot, which I'm obsessed with. I didn't realize the name was Pearl, but I thought it was really cute. I also found these flowers from Dine Out that had like purple and blue tones, which I thought was really complimentary. I added a bunch of those posters and everything for the bubble tea shop on the windows because I just thought it would look really cute, as well as the neon signs. And that's pretty much it for the exterior, actually. I did put a dumpster out back. So your teen Sims do have a place to mess around or woohoo or whatever. Just a little addition there. There's also a couple benches around the exterior of this build, just really for show. I don't really have my Sims sit on benches at community lots, but you can see that I did swap out that door there. I also added this sign from Dine Out that I found. I was looking for a different one, but I kind of liked that one because I never use it. So I decided to use that, and now I'm just working on some lighting for the exterior as well. I didn't want it to be super overwhelming at night, so I got rid of some of those lights, and I think it looked okay. And then we move on to the interior, and the first, I guess, side of the store that we work on is the bubble tea shop. Now, I really don't like this color of flooring, especially this particular flooring. I just personally don't like it, but I think it worked so nicely for the interior here, which is actually really small. Like, this side of this building is super tiny, and I didn't really know what to do with it. This was my first time building a ThrifTea store as well, so I just didn't know what objects I needed, but I was ending up with this kind of color scheme. So I used this wallpaper from the Pastel Pop Kit, which worked really nicely actually, and these curtains from the Paranormal Stuff Pack, which I never used, so I was thrilled about that. And instead of it being mainly blue, it was kind of like a tealy color that I ended up going with on the interior, as well as pinks and kind of the yellow pops from that rug that I ended up choosing. And then I learned about these just the other day because I don't know how I missed these, but we got RGB light strips in the High School Years expansion pack. And what I did is I lined the top here with cabinets just as like faux storage, and then I put the RGB lights underneath the cabinets. I thought it looked so good. I mean, you guys could tell me it looks like garbage, but I thought it looked really nice, and it just added a little bit of a flair to underneath those cabinets that basically serve no purpose. I also added that garbage can from Snowy Escape and that little shelf with like the little tea things from Snowy Escape. I know that it might not be directly applicable, but I thought it looked really cute. And I also added a lava lamp over on this extended countertop, as well as another little flower thing on the actual countertop, and some business cards just for the sake of realism. Then I just added a poster or two. There wasn't a lot of wall space for posters. And I also added a speaker. I think I added the pop genre of speaker to this build. Yeah, I think I did pop over on this side and the other side too. I don't know if they're going to sync up, so we're going to kind of see about that. And and there's no second story to the bubble tea shop. I just added this big open area and sized up that chandelier that is just so vibrant from the High School Years pack as well. I thought it looked so nice, and it added a ton of light. But here are the RGB strips. I just lined them all up under the cabinets, and I thought it looked so good. It added just enough light to that space, which made me really happy. I was thinking of adding like an armchair and a side table over here, but I ended up just keeping the high top table, and then we move on to the thrift store, which I really liked. I liked it so much. I kind of made it a lofted space too. So what you do is you go up the stairs, there's a tiny little loft, and then everything else is pretty much open, which I also size up another chandelier for the thrift shop here, so you can have a ton of light just flooding down into that space. I thought it was so cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to have the room to do that in such a small space. I was also able to get a bathroom in, which you need to have a toilet and sink for this lot, but I was just going to like store them in a basement that you couldn't access just to meet the lot requirements, and not have a bathroom on the slot, but I'm glad I was able to fit one because that would make sense. You need at least one bathroom. So there is a bathroom there, and I decided to use this more distressed brick on the interior here for the thrift store, not the one that came with the High School Years pack that I used on the exterior, because I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think it was going to look the way I wanted it to. But I do have these like kind of rusted old filing cabinets in the back. We've got some like cool fake, I think they're probably fake, like records on the wall, a plant. I added this industrial looking fan with that light from the Journey to Batu pack, and I changed the lighting to, I think, green. I also put a purple lava lamp on top of that filing cabinet near the end of this build, and the lighting just looks so cool. I added some weird funky statues, and I added some like faux clothes here to hang as if they're on sale. You actually have I think the retail racks are what they're called. I put those all upstairs because I wanted downstairs to really just be a collection of a bunch of different things. So I did, again, use these kind of faux wardrobes down here next to the register. I also put this wall clock from Get Together. Like, I just had so much fun with all the different objects that I placed in this build. I also used a lot of retail displays, and I learned this. Let me just say, I learned this when I made a build called, I think it was called Squeeze the Day, like Seize the Day, and it was a juicing store, like a retail store. I remember I made it, and I was so excited with how cluttered all the shelves were. And it was actually the brilliant Hey Harry who told me why your Sims couldn't take the juice off the shelf, and it's because I used Move Objects On. So when I placed almost every single object that I would theoretically think would be for sale here, I did not use Move Objects. I allowed them to clip to the surface appropriately, so it wasn't a problem. But this is basically kind of the little center display in the store. So you do have to have a microphone, a sofa, and a coffee table, I believe, as requirements for the thrift store. I don't exactly know why, aside from those being maybe some items that you could get at a thrift shop. So I did make sure that we had all of that, but it was a little bit odd. I just created a little display in the center here with some of those items. I think the sofa ends up being on the wall to the right of this display here, as we're looking at it right now. And I also tried to merge, I don't know if I show it on camera, but there's this like clothing display thing. It's not actually functional, but there's like this clothing display that's separate from these racks of clothes that I put upstairs that came with this pack. And I kind of merged it into that display platform in the front of the store. And I think it looks okay. I think I do show it on camera, so we'll see it eventually. But yeah, all the clothing racks are upstairs. You need at least 4 of them. So I placed 4 of them back to back upstairs. We have all those weird little quirky, I don't know, just items that you can buy at thrift stores. On the displays over here, we have some stuff stored underneath the stairs, and there is the sofa. I also got to use the Maximalist Kit wallpaper, or at least one of them, because I thought it fit this build so nicely. I was just so freaking happy with how it came out. It's quirky enough for this build that it fit, and I thought it looked really nice. You guys could tell me it doesn't, but I really liked it, so I hope you do enjoy it. And then I just add a few more signs out here, just kind of indicating like, hey, you can buy clothes here. And what else do I even add? Yeah, that's the chandelier. That's what I add. This is the other chandelier that I ended up adding. I did size it up twice, I think, to really make a statement. And then this is that little rack that I was talking about, the little display. Now, I did use the tool mod to kind of merge it in there, and I did play test it. My sim was able to get up the stairs, but if you do have problems with it, you might have to remove it, just letting you know ahead of time, because I know it can be wonky just depending on how the lot places and everything else. And then for the walls, I just covered it with a bunch of miscellaneous art decorations. There was really no rhyme or reason to them. I did use the 2 kind of gallery wall type things that we have. I used a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different, I don't know, just different things to make it look unique and completely chaotic and mismatched. And I just loved every second of it. I also used this lamp from the Werewolves game pack, because it was all patched up. I thought that would be perfect for a thrift store. And then we end up just decorating the bathroom, which really isn't that exciting at all. And I think we add some curtains to that little display, not quite a bay window area as well. And I used the tool mod to kind of size them up just to really fill the space, because I think they were looking a little bit funky before, because that window to the right stretches a bit because it's on a diagonal. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this build. I really hope that you all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this one, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Another week, another day, another hour since you went away, and so cliche you didn't say goodbye. I've been waiting for so long, still debating what went wrong. All by myself, you pulled away, you couldn't say what we were struggling with. It's one of us, it's obvious, but who's to really blame? There's an aching in my heart, all the questions that I've got are keeping me up at night. Ooh. With all these things I'm going through, I still wish the best for you. You're not the only one to love. There's plenty more under the sun. You'll find the one you need, reach your total fantasy.